Okay, now that you've decided that you're going to stream, you have all your whats, here is the second biggest question. Who are you? Who are you, as in, what is your name? What is your genre? What is you? Who are you? You have to figure this out too. So, like, I picked my name based on my favorite color and my favorite culture, and then I also picked it on my mother's favorite scientific study, as well as the fact that she speaks Latin. So Luna means moon, Aoi means bluish green, kind of like teal. This does also play into the fact that I'm a nano cyborg. This works for me because this is what I am. Also, the fact that I'm a TCG fanatic, so a lot of TCG games end up happening late at night and the moon is out watching you play because a lot of people can't do it during the day. So it kind of turned into a running joke as well as a concept altogether. So the question for you is, who are you? And this is something that you have to figure out as a selling point too. You can be a bird, you can be a dog, you can be a cat, you can be a girl, you can be a boy. Yes, I am a girl. You are literally stepping into the world of making an imaginary friend almost. This is where anyone who does not feel comfortable in your own skin can finally step free. Just kind of like stepping into VR chat with a model that you designed. This also leads to me being on that concept of models, camera design. So there are, right now, at least 6 different ways you can do a streaming character. You can have the live 2D, you can have a PNG. PNGs are multiple images that have an open and closed mouth situation where you're just going, ah, ah, and it blinks. It's a pretty much reactive. You can use that. A lot of people have both that and one of the other ones because of the fact that you need it for collabs and other events like that. Then you have what I'm currently doing right now, which is a 3D model. You can do that too. This is something a lot of people who go in VR chat might like having. Someone who has a little bit of a higher, stronger computer can use. It's not, the pricing between everything is kind of sporadic. I will cover different places you can go for these items later. For now, it's figuring out which one you want to really do. If you don't want to spend any money on really another body, to be precise, you can be an IRL streamer. It's not that bad. It's not even an issue. You can always do it. There's plenty of people. MatPat being one. You have quite a few. Which an example of live 2D is like pretty much Iron Mouse, quite a few of the HoloLive girls. There's a lot of regular people who spend a lot of money on a model for live 2D, and it's not cheap. The cheapest one I know is a girl who makes some on Etsy, and like I said, I'll show you guys some of that later. But a PNG tuber is also PNG tuber is probably the cheapest one you can do. You could probably get someone to make that for less than $30. The cheapest one, an absolutely free one here, is Voice Void. The reason I said Voice Void is because you're literally talking and your gameplay is the only thing on the screen. You might have a chat window, you might have the column that tells you where who's your subscriber, who's your newest follower, anything that goes with that. That would be your Voice Void. Those are the cheapest and like literally the freest one. Split would be like Code Miko and Kei-san, who quite literally do not care too much about not being there, showing their faces as a streamer. So you have that. I've dabbled in this a little. I do cover my face. It depends on the game I'm playing or the situation. So, like, Halloween's, you'll definitely see me doing a cosplay stream, but my face will be covered. Komiko has the thing where her live person has its own persona set up, and then she has her own avatar. Then you have Keisan, who's just Keisan across the board. So those are splits. Like I said, there's 6 different ones. You can be any of these. I do recommend, if you are starting out and you don't know if you want to spend any money, the Void Voice is probably the one you want to do. Because again, it's free for you to talk into a microphone. If you like gacha games or cell phone games, you can do it on your phone. It won't cost you a single penny. You do need to be careful though, because you could overheat your phone, but otherwise you can do pretty much a simple games and they won't cause any issue. You can also do those through tablets too. If you already own a tablet, that's an option. If you have a game console, you can hook up a game console, go through the online store web Wi-Fi connection, and you can talk through that. I do say that that is probably the easiest and the most well-rounded one you can do. Close after that would be vtuber, which is just as cheap and just as reasonable in pricing, because you can get them for super, super low. The higher end would be the Live 2D, which can go from if you're lucky, $300. If you're unlucky, $5,000 to $8,000. It's expensive for design and rigging and extra toggles and all that other things that come with Live 2D. I do not own a Live 2D. I might in the future. 3D is a little more in the midpoint between Live 2D and PNG, because of the fact that you have plenty of free programs that you can make your own model, and there's plenty of places where some people, just because they want to practice, would be willing to make it for you for free. And that does tend to play into it. But, like, you're going to need to do this too before you go and commission anyone. Make a character sheet. So I borrowed one from the TV/video game, card game/video game Vanguard, because I didn't have a concept art. I made my own model. I made it and I designed everything myself. So you kind of actually want to get the character sheet done just like this one from the show, because you need to know what the back looks like, you need to know what the front's going to look like, you need to know what the face really looks like, and you're going to want to know what the side view is. Don't worry about doing a real crazy design, and don't even worry about feet, really. If you notice, most VTubers, you don't even see our legs or like below the waist unless we're like really scrolled back. So it's not something you have to really worry about. It's something that's just an afterthought. You want to make sure that you're pretty and not too plain. This is probably my more plainer model, to be honest. And then there is chibi art, which is relatively cheap, and most people will do chibi art for their PNGs. There are some that have like really nice ass fucking full drawn PNGs, and they're crazy freaking amazing. But you can do them really, really easily for a pretty simple thing. It's not crazily required for you to do anything. You can do this for free. You can do this for chump change. You don't have to go crazy. But it does help having some kind of idea of who you are. Heck, one of the guys in my group is Shadow Tarian, because he's a Shadow the Hedgehog fan. One of our guys is a barkeep. I've got a Void streamer who does really well. He's Tater Nation. There's a lot that you can do and a lot you can go with by just being, for lack of a better term, you. Who you are is who you are. I do recommend, if you do decide you want to change a bit about yourself, check out and study into voice changers, because there's a reason people like Snuffy and a few others, I can only think of Snuffy off the top of my head, who started out with a really nice, lovely little active voice, and then decided, oh, fuck, or, oh, screw this, I'm just gonna talk my normal way. So, I already know that one F-bomb is gonna get me demonetized for this, but that's fine. It's, it is hard to keep that up. You also are gonna wanna figure out, are you going to stay towards a lore and your personal information, like none of your stuff that affects you outside of being a streamer is allowed to affect you. You have to, if you have something go on, you're gonna have to really translate it. If you have an issue that you just can't seem to shake off for a stream, you're gonna have to be able to really think about whether or not you can tie that into your lore to complain or not, because there's some people who shit just happens, you just can't leave that at the door. It's just, there's just way too much. Even I don't try to keep to my own lore as much. It's, my lore and my IRL is pretty close, so it's not that hard for me to have done it, but it is rather, I don't really bring it up too much. You can write 26 pages of lore and it'll be fine. That's up to you. I have lore, I just don't use it as much unless I'm doing something lore related, and that's really not really there. You do have to also pick whether or not you have an extra skill that you want to put into this. Because, let's face it, sometimes you're gonna have to do some extra stuff. Because some people are singers, some people do slideshows, some people do drama, some people are video game designers, some of them are outfit designers, some of them draw, just design in general. Some of them just critique and review games. You want to make sure you know exactly who you are and what you are as a streamer and a VTuber. Don't let it ever discourage you just because you don't know. It takes a while to learn where you go. I can't tell you where I've been as a variety streamer. So don't let it discourage you if you come into this not knowing exactly where you want to do your games. Well, as a, when I mean that, I mean like, what games you want to do. You can jump around. Just know that when you get into that niche, you might want to figure out where you can run from it to different things, because even actors get tired of typesetting, which is why variety streamers tends to be where a lot of VTubers and streamers end up, because unless you're like Different Fight, who can get like really into being a specifically Bushiroad streamer, you might want to keep your doors open. Just so you know.